My name is Stephen Leib, and I'm an associate principal at East High School currently. I grew up on the south side of Des Moines. I went to Lincoln High School, went to Drake University, and became a teacher, and started out at Tide. And I've been basically in Des Moines Public Schools for the majority of my career, about 20 years next year. It's my third year being associate principal, and it has varied from being an instructional leader to helping with discipline to planning standardized testing. There's just so many things that we do, taking care of safety, just a variety of different things. And I think it's probably been the most varied this year at East, which is my first year at East. I would say what makes East unique is that it is a very old school. It's got a very rich tradition. It started in like 1861. I've heard stories about the first principal, May Goodrill, man. She took, from our original location, took all of the books and the furniture by horse and buggy, and students carried it. And so it's got a very rich history, near Civil War era, right? So lots of different, and then this current location, we've had a lot of add-ons. So it has changed over the years in the sense that we are very diverse now. So we've got probably close to 50% Latino, Latina, 20% Black, African American, and Asian and white. So we are a very diverse school. 2,200 students in our building, and it's extremely varied. We have a lot of mental health needs. We have, because of our rich cultural our diversity, we have different challenges and different things to overcome there and to bridge gaps and to learn about other cultures. Some things I think that even our students don't really know how to articulate or even have the words or the language for has been really difficult. And so that has come out in like pent up frustration. And so there has been a bit of an uptick of violence, emotional unrest, mental illness. So those are a lot of the struggles I think that we deal with. I don't know that sometimes we know as young people how to articulate that, but it manifests itself in being very frustrated. So I want to do the math. I really want to engage in chemistry. I really want to engage in English and stuff like that, but I'm so frustrated. I don't know how to do it. I'm struggling because of X, Y, or Z. And so that manifests itself in just, walking out of the room or turning to things that are familiar and undemanding, such as drugs, sex, you name it, things that promise, but really in turn kind of enslave some of our students. I think knowing what our students' situations are at, we want to have a balance of high empathy for our students and yet high expectations. We know that if we don't have those high expectations for them, regardless of their circumstances, they simply won't rise to meet those things. And how do we partner with their families and our community, which is really something that's been on my heart for the past 2 years. I think the bleak conclusion we've come to is we cannot do this on our own. We absolutely must have everybody at the table making decisions and having key strategic partnerships so that we can make a difference in our students' lives. I think being a Christian in this, obviously it's who I am. It's my identity, who makes me up, right? I can't deny that experience that has happened in my life, and I think that absolutely has changed my viewpoint on things. I think I think when you read the biblical text, the historical text of the scriptures, right, there are so many people that struggle with so many different things in lives, and that just gives me hope. Knowing how greatly I think I have been redeemed gives me the perspective of thinking about students and where they're at. I have to see them at point B when they're at point A, And so I really hope to unlock that in students through having conversations. And so I feel so dearly loved, so forgiven, and I think because of that, that probably drives my compassion. Whereas I probably would want to give up by myself. I think that's probably what keeps me coming to the table. It gives me perspective. I have to remember how fallen I am and where I was at once, and that these young people on their journey, that they have so much more to go. We have to speak truth into them and speak hope into them. My friendship with Luis Arredondo, he took an interest, and he had a drive, I think, to take a genuine interest in my life and just to be present and to be real and to be there for me. So a lot of things that I was struggling with, he would just, we would call up, we would have conversations, we would, hey, let's meet this week. I just want to pray for you. And gradually, I think over time, just knowing that he cared about me, in times where I felt like so discouraged that I felt like, man, I just didn't see maybe the hope in the way things were going in education at the time. That was really pivotal. How can we unite our multi-ethnic people together and move forward in contrast to such what I felt like was a really angry sound? And so in having conversations with him, we were able to really kind of partner together and try to get a lot of voices at the table. At the time at North, where I was at, March 7th changed our world at the school. We were all part of things. We have various levels of grief and unanswered questions. And my prayer has always been, I think, since that event, is that we could pivot off of this great evil act that occurred into something really good for our community. And so I've been very encouraged by a lot of the partnerships that I've worked with Luis and just making those connections. He's been faithful to show up for things that we've needed him. We had a Vigilia, right, which is right after that, with LLC Iowa and Hope Church, right? And so we partnered with them in Des Moines Public Schools. They hosted this Vigilia. We got to be a part of that. And so just showing up to be a sense of healing for our community and how do we pivot and grow forth, that really started kind of developing, I think, some more key partnerships that we've been pretty excited about moving forward. And I think that is something that really excites me about the idea with like Luis and FCA and our community partners. I see him as a vital partner, that we need each other. And we want to get to the point in our community partnerships where it's a symbiotic relationship, where we help them just as much as we are helped by them. I'm excited about the possibility of like community partnerships. I wonder how we can benefit FCA. I wonder how FCA can benefit us. And I've been really excited about how just some of those partnerships some of those opportunities have forged through some of those relationships. Luis stepping forward to step into roles to help us and to kind of stand in the gap for us have been pretty exciting. Not only has Luis been a very vital community partner, but he's been an incredible friend to me too. A very authentic, very genuine, real friend who showed up, who's talked to me when I've needed it most. And that in itself is awesome. I appreciate him. He's a good man.